Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You guys, let's go, if we could, to Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor Dershowitz, let's continue the conversation. From a legal perspective, is there anything that homeowners can do who are now suddenly put on this public list that they own a second home? Some of them don't even own that second home. I mean, is there something legally they can do? They're, getting harassed or getting bothered. Now they're publicly, quote, shamed by a mayor.
Well, of course there is. You can do a class action, and there will be a class action. I assure you there'll be creative lawyers who will come up with a way of challenging some of these extreme measures, particularly the penalty phases and the inability to challenge them in a careful and coherent way. So, yeah, undoubtedly there'll be challenges. And the question is whether the challenges will go into state court, which they probably have to go into first, and then perhaps into federal court. But there will be challenges. And will the state courts be up to standing up to Mamdani? Look, the ultimate goal, we're not going to get rid of Mamdani now for a while. The goal is to get elected a governor who will take on Mamdani. And, of course, the governor has the ultimate authority even to remove him. And so it's so important that the right person be elected governor, and the current governor is not the right person.
But, Alan, there's one problem here. You have till August 21st or 23rd within which to respond. Otherwise, you're deemed to be in default.
Well, the first action that any class action lawyer should take would be to seek a stay and to seek status quo, not allow any of those penalty provisions to come into play while it's being litigated. And I think that could be a winning proposition. I'd be happy to consult with any lawyer who wanted to bring such an action. My wife and I own a condo in New York, not a particularly expensive one, but a condo, and our residence is in Florida. So I suspect we're subject to this as well. So, we could be plaintiffs as well. But I'm sure there'll be good class action lawyers who will be bringing this lawsuit. And the first demand has to be for a stay so that the August 27th deadline is postponed.
Well, I'm truly happy to be the named plaintiff in this. I have the documents. I have the verification and the proof. I have lived in New York City since 1992. I don't have a second home. I don't have a home in Florida or outside of the state. I just don't. It is the most violative.
And are you on the list?
I am. I received the
letter
yesterday.
He got a letter yesterday. And ask for it. Tell him again. And actually, Professor Dershowitz, Michael, tell him again what they were asking for in the letter.
Your name, your address, your email, your phone number, your social security number. They want, on top of that, your tax returns, and they want a copy, because I hold it in a Cupid trust for my children. They want a copy of the trust documents.
Well, technically, of course, they can't ask for your social security number. When social security numbers were given out, the law was passed that they can't be used for purposes other than what they were intended for. But that's just a minor point. The major point is you're a victim of mistaken accusation, and you have a right, obviously, to challenge that, and you'll win. I mean, if you don't have a second home, you're going to win. But that won't be a big enough victory. The biggest victory will be for people who do have second homes and are challenging some of the procedures whereby they're not allowed to question things. So, look, there are lawyers who specialize in this. I'm not one of them, but to the extent there are constitutional issues, I'd be happy to confer with any law firm or lawyer who wants to challenge this, because I certainly don't agree with it.
And we also have Craig Eaton.
Yeah, Professor, I just looked it up on the city website, and it says if you received a letter from the Department of Financing indicated that you may be subject to it and believe you are exempt, you must respond by the deadline. So they are offering people the right to claim an exemption. So,
but the only way you get that exemption
if you give all this
is
information.
if you give all that information. And I'm not comfortable, Professor. I am not comfortable in giving all of my personal information to a democratic socialist who has made it a vendetta against anybody who has $1.
Yeah, your reaction,
besides
Professor.
that, they're Jewish.
Yeah, Jewish.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're
Right.
absolutely right. And of course,
Anti-Semite.
many of us, like me, are away from. I don't live in New York over the summer, and so if I got a letter, I haven't seen it. It's probably stuck in some mailbox somewhere, and I don't get back to New York until well after the deadline. So I may inadvertently be in violation of something. Look, the whole thing has been done in a socialist way. That is, we don't care about your rights. We only care about what we want. And we're not going to give you due process of the kind that we would ordinarily expect in the United States of America, even in New York.
So, by the way, on another front, and we're going to have Fernando Mateo on later, who represents with the bodega workers, all of those bodegas.
But I understand that Vito just heard us talking.
Yeah, he's calling
Vito
in shortly.
Fasella, who got a letter, and it's not even his home.
Yeah, it's his father, right?
Yeah.
It's like he's calling in a little bit, John.
Yeah.
He's not here yet. But John, also, we do have Fernando who's going to call in later, too. And it's a separate matter, which I think is interesting from a legal perspective. I'm looking at all the great attorneys here. The other issue is these grocery stores. These are the taxpayer-funded grocery stores, which John so eloquently was talking about on Fox News this morning. And now there's a group of immigrant-led businesses that are planning to sue Mamdani, saying it's going to hurt their businesses because it's alleging unfair competition. Talk about, do they have a suit there?
They do, undoubtedly. To the extent we believe in a free market economy and our state and federal constitution protects the right of property, you can make an argument that it protects the right of property from unfair competition from the state. The state doesn't have to do certain things and pay certain things, so the competition is unfair. Look, this is a paradise for property lawyers. They're going to have such a ball challenging all of these things, and for the next 2 or 3 years, we'll see case after case after case being litigated, and they'll probably go both ways, and then ultimately it'll have to go to the Court of Appeals in Albany, and then maybe to the federal courts. And we're not going to see a resolution of this thing for the next few years. In the meantime, people are going to have all kinds of problems, and there's all kinds of mistakes that are occurring. So, this is what happens when you vote for a socialist.
And what happens when somebody like myself with OCD, who feels the need to go ahead and to do it literally hours after I received the letter? Imagine, I didn't have the documents. Professor, I did not have the trust documents. I couldn't find them. So I reached out to the lawyer in order to send me. Of course, it was 10 o'clock at night. I'm still waiting for them. Otherwise, I would have probably sent the information in. What about anybody who puts information into a system, especially that's in the hands of a democratic socialist, a communist?
Yeah, no, it's very troublesome. I mean, the first thing that socialists and communists want to do is gather information on people so that if they take the next step, they have the information necessary to take the next step. We know this is happening now in some universities that are being asked, for example, to provide lists of Jewish students. And some universities have said, no, we're just not going to do that. We don't trust you with a list of Jewish students.
Well,
and
in other words, if you turn in all the documents, that everybody will know exactly where you live and who you are and if you're Jewish or not.
Yeah, and how much
you make,
have, and and how much your property is worth. Now, you can find out today on various websites how much property is worth, but it's only a rough estimate. Here, you're getting people's own assessment of what their property is worth. Look, it's too darned intrusive, and that's not the role of government, to intrude into the lives of everybody.
I think one of you smart lawyers, and don't forget, I'm only a grocery man.
You're an honorary lawyer.
I'm an honorary lawyer, but only a grocery man.
The most important thing a lawyer can have. You're a client.
Now,
I'm disbarred. I'm disbarred.
I think you have to find a way to get into federal court.
And I'm sure they're working on it. And if anybody wants to call me on it, I'm happy to help out. I know a little bit about how to get it to federal court. And
Alan, is it better to do federal court or state court?
Vito is on. Let's put Vito on. Vito Fasella, borough president of Staten Island.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Mr. Borough President Vito Fossella, tell us what happened to you.
Well, actually, good to be with you all. As I left the show last night, I got a call from a reporter that said that I was on the list, and I was shocked by it because there was no reason for me to be on the list. And then it turns out that they mixed up my father, who has the same name, in the home I grew up in South Beach and Staten Island, and me. And the bells went off as I've been listening intently to all of you. You've been great covering this. Just think about, I'm a public official. The reporter calls me. You're on the list. What about the poor, 78-year-old woman who's by herself who has no clue?
Sure.
And we're getting more and more information throughout the last 24 hours of people who just own one home on Staten Island.
Yeah.
And they're on the list. And it's, to me, as the professor rightly pointed out, to me, it's beyond the pale that they're doing harm. They're creating an enemies list. It's really, really smacks of what.
And they're also defaming you. They're defaming you because you're a public figure and you reside in New York. And they're saying you don't reside in New York. That's a libel. That's a slander against you because it would be illegal for you to be the borough president of Staten Island, and what a great place that is, if you didn't live in New York.
Yeah, Vito, that's an interesting thing. Go ahead, respond, Vito.
No, in fact, I might take the professor up on his offer. I'll call him separately because this is rampant. You know, what the city should do right now is pull everything back, not even proper vetting. They're sending signals, aside from the fact that, you used to have the American dream, right? You work to get a home. Now you have a home, they want to punish you. They're almost saying, like, that's the bad guy, and you can't afford a home. Guess what? That guy has two of them. So
that's the culture. That's the culture war that he's launched against the middle class people.
And
also,
you're absolutely
if you're
right,
an immigrant,
Judge.
and you're trying to live the American dream as an immigrant, and you finally save up enough money to buy a bodega, and you're selling goods, and suddenly who comes along but big Mayor Mamdani with the city and puts you out of business.
Vito, did you even have a chance to take a look at what information you were required to send pursuant to that letter, like I did?
Yeah, he had basically his firstborn child, it seems like.
Yeah.
And your
my
children,
God, I didn't
too.
even
By the way,
receive a
it's anybody that lives in the apartment with you. So I had to give my wife's information, my children's information. I had to give everything, including copies of our driver's licenses and so on.
That's amazing. Vito, did you have...
What if you're living in an apartment with a girlfriend and you don't want your parents to know about the fact that you're living with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you have to disclose that information now, too. What a violation.
I do have to say one thing, that the Jews finally got something right here. We didn't name our children after ourselves with the junior, so they're not subject to it like Vito is. Right?
Good line.
By the way, we finally did something right.
Italians.
All the stupid Jews who voted for Mamdani.
Wait. You guys, hold on a second. Everybody's talking over each other. Let's go to Vito. Vito, what did you have to hand over?
If you want to be comical about it, I could start charging my father rent because they're claiming I own the home, right? But what's on a serious note, to Michael's question, I never actually even received a letter. I got a call from a reporter saying, "Why are you on the list?" And to the professor's
the letter is coming.
Yeah, strong letter on the way. What is a strong letter to follow?
Or the letter could already be at the house.
Yes, this is one big cluster. They're hurting. They're intentionally harming people, and there's a pattern and a trend coming out of the city lately where they do not care. There is no back and forth. There is no dialogue. There is no, hey, we made a mistake, we'll pull it back. It is, you are getting this whether you like it or not. And the people of this city and people beyond who are paying attention, they ran Ken Griffin and others, American success stories out of New York City. If they keep doing this, the city's in trouble. And more importantly, innocent people are going to get caught up in this snare, and it's going to be harmful to them, and they did absolutely nothing wrong.
Absolutely. And Professor Dershowitz, final words from you.
Well, I'm wondering if Staten Island would consider leaving New York and establishing itself as a separate state. And you could have a great mayor yourself, and you can do the right thing and have Staten Island serve as a model community to the world.
Well, thank you, Professor, for that. We would be the Hong Kong in the middle of a high tax area, and we would be a tax haven, attract corporations from around the region, and it would be great. The 51st state of Staten Island. Let's go for it.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you very much,
I think you mean
Vito.
52nd, by the way. 51st is Canada.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And 52nd is Greenland.
Yeah, exactly.
53rd.
Exactly. Vito, thank you. Professor Dershowitz, thank you.